Let me see. Raise your hand if you're from California. Florida. Okay, now raise your hand if you're from the New York, New Jersey area. So let me just tell you, the New York, New Jersey area hands win. They have the dirtier hands, for sure. Can you hear me? Is the mic working? Can you hear me without the mic? No. Yeah. So how do you know what I said? There's a place down there called Sal's Shoe Repair. He's been there about 40,000 years. It's got a sign in the window, heels done while you wait. Signs have been there also 40,000 years. I always like to give him my business. I walk in 2 weeks and go, Sal, how you doing? I need a pair of heels for my shoes. He says they'll be ready Thursday. I says, you got a sign in the window, heels done while you wait. He says, you want to wait? Wait! So, my point is that when I was your age, the Catskill Mountains were filled with hotels. When I was 16 years old, when I turned 16 and got my driver's license, which you can get in Connecticut when you're 16, I became the resident children's entertainer at places like Grossinger's, Concord, Nevele, Kutcher's, Tamarack, Homewack, The Pines, Ballsy, The Granite, just to name a few. And these hotels don't even exist anymore. I think Kutcher's maybe exist. They rent it out. And I became what was known. They gave me a title. It was called the Tumbler. You know what the Tumbler is? The Tumbler was the guy that made sure that everybody had a towel. And that guy, Tumbler was the guy that ran bingo every once in a while. And I would have this job there. And of course, now I don't know if you ever, but the food. I gotta tell you something. The food. Every single Catskill Mountain hotel, way back in the day when it was filled with hotels, every single one served dinner at 6 p.m. And it's funny. The place was filled, it was 99% Jews who went to all these places. 6 o'clock was dinner. And it's funny because at 5:45, Jews in every hotel would be outside the lobby of the dining room pacing back and forth, pacing, looking at those dining room doors, looking, wondering, thinking, looking, getting a glimpse, maybe something, nothing. And at 2 minutes to 6, they would get into the crouching position. Ready to pounce. And if those doors were not opened right at 6 o'clock, they'd be saying, no! Take it. But they usually did. I remember a place like Grossinger's had tiny little doors that opened to a huge dining room. And the Jews, all of a sudden, every Jew would stand up like soldiers at attention, walking, proudly walking to their seats. And they would all go to their dining room tables. There would be a little 8.5 by 12 cardboard piece, the menu. Jews would look at the menu, they'd start reading, learning, studying, darshaning, Rashi, Tosfos on a menu. Look at the food, look at the choices. Some would actually start chuckling with a menu in their hand, as if they were davening with a menu. Look at the choices, All of a sudden the waiter would come to the table. It was like the Mashiach came to the table, they didn't know what to do. Waiter, what should we have? What's good? And any waiter worth his weight, when you ask him what's good, what does he say? Everything's good. Oh no, what a dilemma. Everything's good. In that case, every Jew would say, could you bring me a side and a side and a side? Because I couldn't eat a whole, no, just bring me a side and a side. How about, could you just bring the side of a cow to the table? Just the whole side of the cow to the table. And by breakfast, these same Jews, there was no sour cream on the table. Now, whose parents and grandparents like sour cream, right? And they say, there's no sour cream. Could you bring a little ball, 3 little balls in a small little bowl? You don't forget the balls. Just fill up a small bowl. You know what? Make it a big bowl. Bring a big bowl of sour cream. Better yet, do you have a pump? How about a pump? Can you pump the sour cream right directly from the kitchen? Better yet, how about an IV? Can you give me an IV, right? Pump the sour cream into my veins? And every Jew looked the same walking out of a Catskill Mountain dining room. They all looked like they were walking up a steep hill. And they're all asking the same questions to one another. They're all asking, when's the next meal? You've been going many years to school. Let me ask you a question, Yehuda. Tell me, what was your favorite subject growing up in school?
I'd say math.
Math? Any particular area in math that you liked more than any other?
I really love fractions, actually. Yeah.
Fractions. So you know what? Here's what I like to do. Do you mind? I'm going to ask you a question to see how well you learned fractions. Let me ask you a question, Yehuda. Come on, step over here so everyone can see it. Yehuda, let me ask you. Would you rather have a quarter of a pumpkin pie or a third of a pumpkin pie? Now think, before you answer quickly, think.
I would probably rather have a quarter of a pumpkin pie.
A quarter of a pumpkin pie? Well, for your information, a quarter of a pumpkin pie is less than a third of a pumpkin pie.
Well, for your information, I don't really like pumpkin pie.